So wait, give me time to answer this. So wait. Okay, game. Alright, so assuming that these values are your cylinder tank, right? You've given me these values for the cylinder tank.
Yes.
So, assuming that this is the radius of the cylinder tank, the height of the cylinder tank would be 4.5 meters and the water level would be 3.5 meters, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, here's the hard part. You need to assume that the value of the rate of the height when the height of the water level when it is being drained needs to be assessed. So, here's the formula. Move on to the formula. Volume is equal to pi r squared times height. We all know that that's the volume for the cylinder. That's the formula. We need to assume a value for radius so we will be able to substitute it. The proportion will be h proportional to r is equal to 4.52. We only just substituted that value to h and r itself. Create it on a fraction state, so h over r is equal to 4.5 over 2 and cross multiply one value to 4.5, exchange it, so it would be h over 4.5 is equal to r over 2. The next value should be moved to the other side because 2 is not applicable with r. They are not both variables. So, it needs to be arrived with the answer of 2h over 4.5 is equal to r. So, that's our radius. So, the second step of the equation would be to substitute that value for r itself. Move on here. 2h over 4.5 square. Here's a square here. Move on to the third step of the equation. We need to distribute that little exponent right there to all the values given, 2h and 4.5. Clearly, we can see that in the third step of the equation, 4h cubed 20.25, meaning to say that it was already distributed. So 2 square is equal to 4, 4.5 square is equal to 20.25. So what happened here is that this was distributed here, giving us 4h cubed. Originally it was 2h square, so 4h cubed. We'll move on to the fourth step before we would derive all the values for 4h cubed over 20.25. I know it's complicated, but this would be the hardest step because we need to assume the value for 4h cubed to be isolated in order for pi to move to 1 over 20.25. How did it become 1 over 20.25? We just extracted 4h cubed as a property of mathematics for 1 over 20.25 to be multiplied to pi itself. I know it's complicated, but it's so assuming this value right here would be in line for this derivative equation. So we only had to get the derivatives of all these values right here. So assuming that 4h cubed would be its derivative would be 12h square, because 4 times 3 is equal to 12 and minus 1, 3 minus 1 would be square, so 12h square. The only reason that dh over dt was present because the value for the volume is substituted to dh over dt for the rate, for finding the rate itself. So to label it, the rate. So we move on to the second part of the equation of the derivative. So 1 over 20.25 pi 12 3.5 square dh over dt. So over here we just substitute the h square. So given that h is the height of the water level, 3.5. How did we get 3.5? 3.5 is just the height of the water level. So just substitute it. Then again, yan. So move on to the third part of the equation. 1 over 20.25 pi 147 dh over dt. Multiply them. So 3.5 square times 12 is equal to 147. So skip this part right here. 147 over 20.25 is because we enable it to multiply. Yeah, like that. So given that 147 over 20.25, we move on to the left side of the equation right here, which is, you see, the number 2. dv over dt is just a representation of the radius itself. So, radius, excuse me, 2. It's just a representation of the rate of the water that decreases when it is being drained. So it's 2. Assuming that we'll need to divide both sides by the equation right here, so we could get the isolated number or answer of dh over dt. So cancel, and the next part would be to reciprocate it and multiply it. So 2 over 1 divided by 147 over 20.25 pi equals dh over dt. Reciprocate it, multiply 2 over 1 times 20.25 pi 147. As you can see, it was reciprocated. If you know how to use the calculator for one-liner, use this already. Be straight to the point. But if it is a two-liner, you can use your calculator directly. So just divide it. It will automatically reciprocate. We'll move on to the final answer. Dun 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 dun. dh over dt equals 4.62 cubic meters per minute. So that's your final answer. So to paraphrase the answer, the rate of change of which the water level is 3.5 meters is 4.62 meters at 4.62 cubic meters per minute. So that's all. Thank you.